Okay, we are going to start on the lesson 32, problem set. This lesson is kind of a challenge, but I think once we do some practice, it will be helpful. And I'm going to try to walk you through this method the best way I can and kind of explain each step to you. I'm going to try to break it down and draw it and write it in such a way that you can kind of see each step that I'm doing. I'm going to try really hard to explain my process. And so on this particular problem set, I am going to work the 3 examples now with you, and then I'll give you some time to try on your own with a couple as well. So I want to take a quick look at A and just kind of talk through what's happening here, and then we'll jump in and do some work on C. So the original problem in A is 3 1/8 minus 3/8. So what they have done is that they've broken down 3 1/8, and we're taking out one whole, okay? So I still have 2 1/8, and I took a whole number out. So that whole number, you could also think of it as being 8/8. Because that's how many 8s go into the whole number 1. And so what they're doing is they're taking this 2 1/8 and we're bringing it over here. And then you might see this plus 5/8 and you're wondering, like, where is this coming from? I thought we were doing subtraction. Well, I'm going to show you. So you have your 8/8 or your whole number 1. Where this 5/8 comes from is you're taking this minus 3/8 and you're bringing it all the way down, and so you're taking 8/8 minus 3/8. You're pulling that down. So 8/8 minus 3/8 is 5/8. And then you still had your 2 1/8 over here that you pulled out. So now you're going to take 2 1/8 and the 5/8 from this portion that you subtracted, and you're going to add those two numbers together. So your answer is 2 6/8. So let's try another one together, and I'll talk you through it the same way. I have 5 3/5 minus 4/5. Now you remember on A, let's use that as our model to help us. I'm pulling out my whole number. So 1 less than 5 3/5 would be 4. 4 3/5. Sorry guys, how do you do it? Here we go. 4 3/5. And then that leaves me my whole number of 1. So look, if I were to add these together, 4 3/5 and 1, that gives me this 5 3/5, okay? So I'm going to put my equal, and I'm already going to put my 4 3/5 up here because I know that I'm going to have to use that in a little bit to add together. But I'm going to take this whole number 1 that I have pulled out, and I'm going to use it to help me with this subtraction part, okay? So when you think about that, you're taking this 1, and I'm even going to write it down here so you can see, 1 minus 4/5. That whole number 1 is the same as 5/5. So you could even write that. 5/5 minus 4/5. So that helps you. So your answer there is 1/5. And now remember that 1/5 has to get added back up here in your total. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to move it up here. 4 3/5 plus 1/5 equals 4 4/5. Okay, we're going to do the same thing on E. Let me scoot my paper back a little bit here. Okay, same thing, guys. I have 6 4/12 minus 7/12. This 6 4/12, I'm going to take it and I'm going to pull out 1 less. So that's the first number I'm going to list, which is 5 4/12, because I'm going to pull out my whole number 1 here. Okay? Now that whole number 1, I'm going to have to use to subtract 7/12 from it. So I'm going to put over here to the side 5 4/12 because I'm going to come back to that, right? I can't just leave it. That's not my answer. I have to subtract here. So it's my next step. So if I have 1 minus 7/12, that gives me 5/12. And now I have to take my 5/12 and add it to my total over here. So I can get my answer of 5 9/12. Okay, let's also try G, and then I have a couple that I want you to try. Here we go. 7/16 minus 5/6. Again, guys, I'm pulling out the whole number. So I have a whole number of 1, and that leaves me 6/16. Now that 6/16 is going to go as part of my part of the portion that I'm going to have to add together to get my answer. And then I have my whole number 1, where I'm going to take this whole little part where I'm subtracting, and I'm going to take care of that down here. Minus 5/6. 1 minus 5/6 equals 1/6. Don't forget that that whole number 1, it's the same as 6/6 minus 5/6. If it helps you to write it out this way, then I want you to do that, okay? Oh, I didn't realize you couldn't see it. There we go. I want you to do it this way if this helps you more, okay? If having this whole number here minus this fraction is confusing, take that whole number 1 and turn it into a fraction of 6/6. Now I'm going to take my answer for that subtraction of 1/6, and I'm going to add it up here so that I can get my total of 6/2/6. That is not a good looking 6 here. Let me fix that. What in the world? Here we go. Okay. Now I want you to try a couple. I want you to do 3D, 3F, and 3H. And even if it's challenging, this is kind of your hashtag the struggle is real time, like that we would have in class. I want you to try, use the models that I have as an example. I know it can be challenging, and then we'll come back together and we'll talk about it. Okay, here we go. I should do a drum roll or something, all official, but I won't. Here we go. Okay. Ooh, it's kind of blurry. Let me fix it. Okay. So we have 5 4/6. So look, I even showed over here as my example. I took my whole number that I pulled down, and I did go ahead and turn it into a fraction of 6/6. So it's easier for me to see here when I work to complete my subtraction of the 5/6. So I have 4 4/6 plus, I'm taking my answer from this portion, guys. That's where I got this 1/6. And I'm adding it together for my total of 4 5/6. On F, I have a 9 1/8 minus 5/8. Remember, you're pulling out your whole number, so I have 8 1/8, and I pulled out a whole number 1. Down here, I'm taking that whole number 1, and I'm subtracting 5/8. Okay, taking care of that subtraction to get my answer here of 3/8, which I'm going to add back together with the fraction of 8 1/8, so I can get my answer of 8 4/8. That's my total answer right here. And then H, there we go, H, we have 8 3/10. Remember, I'm pulling out my whole number 1, and then I have 7 3/10. I'm going to take this whole number 1 and subtract 4/10. from it to get 6/10. So that's the answer to this subtraction portion. Then I'm going to take and add back in to my mixed number of 7 3/10 so I can get my total answer of 7 9/10. I know today's lesson was a challenge, but you all are so smart, and I know that you provide me such quality work in class, and I have all the confidence in you with this lesson. If you have questions after you've done this lesson, or if you're like, man, this is kind of challenging and kind of difficult, please don't forget that you're always welcome to reach out to me and let me know, and I will do anything and everything I can to help you all, okay? I'm proud of you, and I love you, and that's all for this one. Thank you.